So for this example, we're going to express the fraction into its partial fraction. For the first step, we check for proper or not. As we can see here is linear. And when we expand, here is square. Expand with the x here, it will be x power of 3, so it will come to cubic. So linear always smaller than cubic in the term of the power. So this fraction is proper. Then we can continue. For second step, we're going to notice that our divisor here or our denominator here, is it in proper factorized? So is it in complete factorized? As we can see, x times x minus 1 square. So this is our factor from this denominator part. So actually the question is given the denominator part in completely factorized already. Then third step, we're going to split the factor to find out its partial fractions. We will split according to the factor from denominator part. So you can notice that we have one factor of x, and then x minus 1, x minus 1 is the same factor that repeating. So we have a repeating factor. For repeating factor, we're going to split it for the first time, just the factor itself. Then for the second time, we will do it repeating, so it will become x minus 1 square. So untuk kali pertama, faktor dia sendiri saja, iaitu x tolak 1. Untuk merepeatkan kali kedua, so the whole factor kita akan buat square. After that, we're going to determine what is our numerator part. As we can see, linear up here is supposed to be a proper, so it must be a constant. This factor also a linear factor, so the numerator also need to be constant. And then for this, although it is repeating, but you can see originally its factor is a linear, so means that here is a constant c. Then we're going to continue. Step number 5, we form an equation involving our numerator here. Dengan samakan penyebut, kita boleh nampak A perlu darab dengan apa? We can compare here. This is our complete proper fractions. This is partially fraction come from this fraction. So you can see it have with A it have x. So for A we will time with x minus 1 square. So for B it have x minus 1. So it will time with x and another x minus 1 because it only have one factor x minus 1. Then for C, it will time with x because it already have x minus 1 square. So this is when we combine back, bila kita samakan balik penyebut dia, itulah pengangka yang akan berdarab dengan ni. So pengangka ini perlu sama dengan 18 x tolak 9. Then we have to find out what's your ABC. Once this equation already formed from our numerator, we find out our ABC. So you have 3 unknown. You have to write it three times. For the first time, x. We can get the x value from its factor. So you can get it from the factor of x minus 1. So the value will be x equals to 1. So we substitute here. 18 minus 9, 9. So we know that this x equals to 1 is come from the factor of x minus 1. So it will make A zeros. So same as here, we have a factor of x minus 1. So it will make here zeros. So we can straight away, we can get C. So C will be equals to 9 when it divided by 1. Then continue. We let another x value. So another x value, we can find it from our factor. We still have a factor of x. So we can substitute x equals to 0. So substitute x equals to 0. Here we get negative 9. So need to calculate because this 0 is not come from this factor. So when you substitute here, negative 1 square, it gives you a. So x, when you put here 0, so 0 times anything also becomes 0. Then 0, when you time with c, you become 0. So you'll notice that this will be easier when we taking the value we come from its factor. So now you can know a is negative 9. So repeat. So we still have an unknown haven't find, so we need to continue letting. So find one value that we were easier to calculate. We don't find any other value from the factors already. So means from this part we can put randomly. So I can put randomly as negative 1. I prefer smaller value or value 2. If I put a bigger value, our calculation will be difficult. So I put a smaller value, maybe negative 1. So when I substitute here, it will give us negative 27. So negative 1, substitute here, negative 2. Negative 2 square will give you 4a. So as I know a, I already have the value, which is negative 9. Then continue, here will be plus b, haven't find it, x is negative 1, and then negative 1 minus negative 1, negative 2. So finally c, I can substitute in with the value of 9 times negative 1. So here we simplify to find out what is our b value. Then lastly, after we find all the unknown, we can express our partial fraction. Substitute back our a, b, and c. So this fraction, when it expressed in partially, so the first partial fraction will be a, negative 9. Then b is 9. C also is 9. Okay, so substitute inside. So this is the partial fraction from these proper fractions.